Now then, people, good morning. Welcome back to the Just Joe football show. As promised, after every game, once we've done the instant match reaction, which was like pulling teeth and very difficult for me and for you, we do When the Dust Settles. When the Dust Settles is a nice, chilled, relaxed. Let's have a look at what's been said by the manager, by pundits, by those in the know, by you folks in the comments, and have a little chinwag and a chat about it. Look, yesterday was hard. I wasn't really feeling it. I finished after the game. I took my daughters out for a nice Italian. We watched Brassed Off. I went to sleep. Yeah. Thought about my mum for a bit because obviously Brassed Off was one of her favourite films. So that was sweet. If you haven't watched Brassed Off, big up Yorkshire, Feck Mary Thatcher. And it's beautiful. And it was beautiful. And for Arsenal fans, yesterday was beautiful. For us, it was rough. For us, it was tough. For us, it was a reality check. For us, it was a reality check to the fans who maybe felt we could get something down there. I always felt it would be tough. And I think as well, more importantly, it was a reality check for the players and for the manager. Leeds do not have the time, speed of thought to be operating like we did yesterday when on the ball against such a brilliant side. If we look at a couple of the goals, more specifically the second, Ilya Gruev believes he's got longer on the ball than what he has. He's got two passes he can play off to the right. He tries to be too cute to pick out Pirro. And before it's even left his foot, Rice has already pressed him. It's gone to Zubamendi. He's played in Saka. It's 2-0 just before half-time, and that's game, set, and match. Now, this is where it's learning curve for Farker. You can't just continue to do plan A and plan A better. Nowadays, and I've said this before, you need plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G. The managers in today's game are so tactically astute, they can switch it 3, 4, 5 times in a game. I've said before, David Moyes, for example, is someone that isn't as tactically flexible and fluid as others. And once Leeds started dominating that game last week, struggled to get back into it. Daniel Farker did exactly the same. It was so frustrating, and I want to shout out Andrea here. Because Andrea in our group chat said, if we don't change this, we'll concede within the first couple of minutes in second half. And we did. And that was definitely game, set, and match. Aisters, 0 point, nil point. Because it was very, very naive of the manager to expect a different result in the second half when we couldn't get out. The persistence in trying to play cute football out from the back became our undoing. And the lack of substitutions earlier in the game, even the lineup, we can go back to, look, the manager's kept faith, but this isn't the Championship where you go, do you know what? I've got enough in my squad to get through this game. They played well last time out, so I'm going to keep the same 11. It was a silly decision. It was a silly decision. So many errors were made by the team, by the manager. But it is a reality check, and like the title says, not a setback. I shouldn't be surprised, but I am. We're actually... The idiocy, and this is where I'm going to come out all guns blazing, suited up, and start putting people in the bin. So trigger warning for you all. The absolute idiocy, and that's what it is, of some fans believing we should sack the manager 2 games into the season have lost their fecking marbles. Lost their marbles. I remember having this same conversation 2 games into the Championship season after we got a point at West Brom. And they said, get him out. They said, get him out. He's terrible. Where did we finish? Top of the league. Over 100 points, 90 goals scored, most across Europe. Yeah, exactly. A result down at the Emirates will not define our season. Again, just to look into the future. Elmi, where the fuck do you get this? Farker has 5 games to save his job. Who are you? Are you the 49ers? Do you make these decisions? It's a good fucking job you don't. Idiot. And if you're going to get triggered, you're going to get triggered. The absolute, yeah. So just to put some perspective for people, this could happen again. This could happen at City. This could happen at Liverpool. Damn, it could even happen at St. James's Park. You know, I'm going to... Look, the mad thing is we're getting more sense out of people outside of Leeds United than we do our own fans. It's clear a section of the fan base don't like this manager. So no matter what he does, he will be criticised. Yeah? We had an Aston Villa fan on Twitter, and it picked up a hell of a lot of traction, by the way. A hell of a lot of traction. He says, Leeds have just been promoted, won their first game. They're losing away to a team who will compete for the title and spent huge sums of money again. And their fans are saying they should get rid of their fraud manager. X is genuinely frightening in how many morons exist here. And that's what it is. If you want the manager sacked 2 games into the season after what we've seen for the last 2 seasons and that great performance last season, you are a moron. It is moronic. So that's a Villa fan. Big account on X. It's had over 102,000 interactions, 121 retweets. It really picked up. And thankfully, when you go in the comments, some people are actually like, I know, tell us about it. I also spoke to Wolfie, and Wolfie went, Joe, these results do not define your season. These results do not define your season. Within the same month, Nottingham Forest, the season they stayed up in their first season with Steve Cooper, got battered 6-0, 6-0 by Manchester City, and 5-0 by Arsenal. They also got beat 4-0 by Leicester. I'm going to show you the graphic of that run that they had, which involved just 1 win. Yeah, 1 win in 9 games, right? And guess what? They didn't sack the manager. This was that run. August, 6-0 by City. Just a week on from our 5-0 beating of getting beat by Arsenal. 6-0. Then they lost at Bournemouth. Then they lost at Fulham. Then Leicester beating them, who, by the way, went down that season. They get a draw away at home against Villa. They get that random win against Liverpool. Do you remember Taiwo Awoniyi? And then they get beat 5-0 from Forest. Now, I dare say I'm not expecting these types of results, but they had 11 goals shipped past them against the top 6. That season, City and Arsenal were 1 and 2. Arsenal will be 1 and 2 this season. They beat us 5-0. It happens. If you went into the game expecting a result at the Emirates, then fair enough. I'm not saying you shouldn't. Of course, you should go into every game. I didn't. You know, we'll get into some of your comments, but yeah, we'll talk on it more. I don't want to get triggered as of yet from your moronic comments, because this is what they are at this stage. Some people just have no chill, I would say. We'll talk about some transfer news as well, involving Largi Ramazani and involving Ilian Bakwa, which we will do. But I want to talk about this game first of all. So perspective is needed. Daniel Farker has gone up against one of the best teams in Europe, probably the best defense in Europe. The best defense in Europe. It was always going to be tough. Did we help ourselves? Nope. Did we help ourselves? No. Because the manager got it wrong. No one is exempt from criticism here. I've criticised the manager. But you also need to hold up your hand and say, you know what? We didn't half shoot ourselves in the foot, though. But this is what can happen. Opening day, Emirates, Eze's just been announced on the pitch. I said to you before kickoff, I said the last time a player was announced on the pitch when Leeds United came to town, when the fans were buzzing, was when we went to Manchester United. When we went to Manchester United and they announced Rafael Varane on the pitch and they end up beating us 6-1, 6-2. Now, again, I've criticised the game. I criticised it yesterday. If you've watched my post-match, do this. But what we have to now do is say, okay, it happened. It happened. Let's not let it happen again as best as we can. It's a wake-up call to the players. I'm telling you that as much. I'm telling you that as well. Because they don't have the time on the ball that they think they have. I just want to talk, like, Gruev doesn't have as much time on the ball as he thinks he has. The criticism of Gruev above everybody else is mental. By the way, mental. But again, he's a player that people don't like. I've seen people like he's not good enough for Prem. Yeah, not good enough. Shouldn't play again and all this shit. I'm sick of hearing it. You know? I'm sick of hearing it. So we move. Is someone calling me a knob? Did you say? Because they will be blocked. I ain't got time for this shit today. Trust me. Oh, I ain't got time for this shit today. I look like a knob. You know why? Because I am a knob. You're on here calling it Relegation FC. Yeah, you're a member of my channel. Get a grip of yourself, man. Get a grip of yourself. You know what I mean? It's mental. In terms of Strauch, he was bad. Really bad. Really, really bad. Really, really bad. So, there's a lot of... I've spoken about it, that we need to not go for Pirro up top in these sort of games. You know, Gary Neville put it best when he said... Gary Neville put it best when he said, you need a team at home, you need a team away. That's what you need. A team at home, a team away. You can play a certain way at home that you wouldn't normally play away. I think that's fine. How we played at home against Everton, perfect. You're not going to do that at the Emirates. You're not going to do that at the Emirates. You know? So that's something that we need to take into our mindset, or the manager needs to take that on. The manager needs to take that on. He did speak after the game. I wanted to go through some of his comments. In terms of Ramazani's omission, he said it was due to Okafor coming in, not against Largy. Nonto was going to start. Jack Harrison is the hard worker as a defensive winger. Again, for me, I'd have started with Harrison. I said that before the game. I thought Nonto played well. If Farker is telling us there, Jack Harrison is the hard worker as a defensive winger, why didn't you start him? Why didn't you start him? Because we were going to be defending. We were going to be defending. He says this result does not impact transfers. Another winger or fullback would not have him impacted this game. No, maybe a striker that could hold up the ball would, and you've got one of them on the bench. Should have played him from the start. Definitely should have changed it at half time. It says, there are teams with better individual quality than us. Can't get away from that fact. Although we gifted them the second, we were poor from the corner. Strauch's terrible for the Gyökeres goal. His first goal, the third. The fourth is another shitty corner. We're just letting people get to it. And then 5 is the penalty. And it was a penalty, soft, but it was a penalty. Goodmanson will be having nightmares. He got torn up by Saka, and then he got torn up by 15-year-old Max Dowman. Welcome to the Premier League. It's a level. Goodmanson was one of our best players on the park against Everton. And then you go away to Arsenal. And it'll happen again where they'll have torrid afternoons, torrid evenings. You got to play Liverpool and Mo Salah. You know what I mean? This is what we're dealing with. It ain't easy, this league. Of course, you've got to help yourself. But people need to remember this. I would also take people back to our second game in the Championship where we got a point away against West Brom and everyone said sack him then. People said sack him at the end of this season, for God's sake. Also, what I would say as well, Stack was bad, Tyler. Stack had a stinker. He was really bad. In terms of... what was I going to go on to then? Yeah, move. I forgot. It'll come back to me. It was a good point as well. But he said, look, they've got better individual quality, which is without a doubt. And he says, you need everything to come together for you to have a chance in this game, which is 100%. Farker said he'll look back to assess the goals to see if Perry's reactions were slow on a couple of occasions. Maybe it's down to ring rust. I thought the corners is where I would want more from him personally. He needs to command that. He's a big lad. I don't think he can do much about Saka's goal, if I'm honest. Farker says, we've not lost in pre-season. We did not lose much last season. But if you play in the best league in the world, days like this can happen. They can. Man City got beat 5 by Arsenal last season. Said, we must not dwell on it. We also must not dwell on it. Forget about it. It's done. Forget about it. It's done. He said at 4-0, we stuck together with the subs and did not allow them more chances. I liked the mentality at 4-0 down. Shall I tell you why that was, Daniel? In my opinion, why we were better then? Because the changes was a similar type of lineup that you should have gone with. And that's why we were better. That's why we were better. That's why we were better. Because by that time, you have brought on Longstaff, you could have started with. Mecha, you should have started with. You had Aronson, who's more of a defensive winger. If we're being honest, right? And I know this, again, they got criticised for this if we only lose the game 1 or 2-0. But maybe you should have started with Aronson, Harrison and Mecha. I would have started with James because he was our out ball, and we probably would have got more out of him had Mecha started up top. That was the big one for me. It was the striker. It would have changed a lot, in my opinion, just having the striker there. But you see me, I'd have gone Mecha, and on reflection, maybe Aronson on the right and Harrison on the left. Can you imagine the fan base if they'd have done that and we'd have come away with the point? I don't know. They'd still criticise. We didn't have a go. Like they did at West Brom, for God's sake. But I would argue when Daniel says we were good at 4-0, we didn't let our heads go down, etc. That was due to the lineup. Like the difference for me for Metri was winning fouls and being fouled. Winning fouls and also doing some fouling on their centre-backs. Saliba and Gabriel, for me, are the best centre-back partnership in world football right now, right? That's my opinion and I stand by it. Now, they had the easiest afternoon they will have all season. Piro's here. He's in front of you. I can see you. If we do that at Liverpool, it's long. Even if we do it against Newcastle with Dan Burn, with Botman, with Shah, it's long. You need to roughhouse them a bit. You need to give them something to think about. Pirro is not the striker to play in that game. I said before the game, we all did, right? And that's a massive point why Farke couldn't see that away from home you don't go with Pirro. Because I can see it and you can see it. It's very confusing, that. It's very confusing. You know, the first 20, 25 minutes, we were good. We sought at him. We stayed resolute. They struggled to break us down. And we had a few rare get out of jails. When it went to James in behind Calafiori, we hit it about 2 or 3 times. We got corners from it. We almost scored the first goal. And then it went to shit. Went to shit from a set piece. Heads start to drop. Then we concede just before half time to make it 2, and that's goodbye. Now, what Farke should have done then is changed it. And then we could have seen where we go. But he didn't, and within 3 minutes, we're 3-0 down. Good night. Good night. So the manager's at fault, of course. And obviously, the players need to get used to the fact that they don't have time on the ball like they did. Strauch took too long. Gruev took too long. Dawdling. Farke said it's a bit annoying how we conceded the goals. Timber between my centre halves, conceding in added time too. Scored from a difficult angle. Plenty look soft. When everything comes together for them, it's always difficult. This is not a season-defining game for us, and this is where I want to bring it back to as well. What I was saying earlier about how Nottingham Forest got beat 5-0 by Arsenal, got beat 6-0 by City. They still stayed up. This game will not define your season. Burnley fans who were buzzing this weekend got beat 3 by Spurs. You know, this can happen and will happen. It may happen again. But what we can't do is be the masters of our own downfall. And that's what we were at times. And that comes down to the manager and to the players. Farke, no qualms on Arsenal's victory. They're one of the most consistent teams in Europe. 5 shots, 5 goals in a buzzing stadium versus a newly promoted side. We looked nervous in the opening 10 minutes. I'd rather us played like that for the rest of the game, if I'm honest, if that was nervous. Fair to say they deserve to win with a big goal difference. They scored all of them while they are on it. One of the best teams in Europe. It's always difficult. I think as well, like Arsenal are going to be up there, aren't they? They've got Eze to add to that as well. Arteta was asked, can they stay up? He said, I think so. If they continue to maintain that philosophy, I'm sure they'll be fine. I'm not too sure we should maintain that philosophy away at Arsenal. Yes, at home and against teams we can have a battle against. I've watched all, the majority of Premier League games. I don't really, apart from your top 6, I really fear a lot. Newcastle have looked blunt. They still haven't got a striker. Gordon, I think he's got 1 in so many games with him starting as a 9. That midfield is where that game will be won and lost, and it'll be tough. But I think we can get some at home against Newcastle, and that's no bullshit. I didn't think we'd get all in yesterday, but I think we can get something at home against Newcastle. And again, no bullshit. Away at Fulham, we can get something. Yeah, definitely. I believe this. And that's what we have to remember, this season is not defined by getting walloped by Arsenal, because Arsenal wallop teams. This is what they do. But yeah, I've watched enough football, and these teams over the last few seasons to know we can get results against quite a lot of them. Villa have looked so blunt in attack. They were rubbish yesterday. Brentford weren't much cop. They win 1-0. Sunderland lose at Burnley. Burnley get battered. We're going to be okay, peeps. We're going to be okay. I believe this. Obviously, it's funny, we talk about YouTubers and that. Did you see Gyökeres did the celebration with his hair at Lee Gunner? That's mad, isn't it? Lee Gunner is in the heads of footballers on the pitch. On about his hair flick and that. He did that. I thought that was mad, and it just shows you the power of YouTube and football media and all that sort of stuff. It's a bit mad. It is a bit mad, really. Donnarumma has agreed personal terms with City. That'll be him coming in then. Trafford did have a bit of a horror show. Did have a horror show yesterday. I won't lie. It wasn't great. Now, normally I would have Jer on this, but Jer's on holiday at the moment. It's probably good for him. But look, Farker's been here now for 96 league games. That was the 96th league game yesterday, and we've faced defeat just 15 times. We're not used to it. We're not used to it. The players aren't used to it. So it's about how they respond from this now. The good thing for us, we've got a game on Tuesday against Sheff Wednesday. You'd fancy us to win that. You're going to get to have a look at the players that are on the outskirts. I'd start Metro. I'd start Okafor. I'd start these players. You know, definitely Longstaff and co. Get them ready for the weekend because they need to be starting at the weekend as well against Newcastle. We maybe have forgotten to feel what it likes to lose and lose in that manner. And again, I'll come back to it. Arsenal, one of the best teams in Europe. We'll go far in the Champions League and we'll try for the league this season. The last time we had a beating like that was Liverpool in April 2023. And that was against Javi Gracia. But this season won't go like that season. The good thing is as well, I have a lot of belief in the group, in the players. They'll come through this. They won't down tools. They'll use it to ignite them. I genuinely believe this. We have a great group. From the manager to the players, it's a great group. Arsenal, like I say, they're going to be on for the league. They're going to be on for the Champions League. Eze's just signed. They have a phenomenal side. The facts are, when Saka gets injured and Odegaard gets injured, and they can bring on two players that walk into our side, tells you all you need to know. There wasn't one player on that pitch for Arsenal that doesn't walk into Leeds United's side. And I include Max Dowman within that. And the kid's 15. That's what we're up against. And if you're not on it 100%, and the manager doesn't help with his decisions, i.e. lineup and subs, then there's issues. I hear this thing about, honestly, the comments are going, he's tactically... Well, we've got a totally different fucking system to last season. Now, is he as tactically astute as an Iriola, as a Slot, as an Arteta that can change and Pep? They change formations in game? No, I would argue not. But he makes little tweaks here and there. Yesterday, he got it wrong. To say that, the same tactics. It's like, well, no, it's a totally different system to what we played last season. Like, what are we doing? Even just from a basic standpoint, it's not a 4-2-3-1, it's 4-3-3. We look different when we haven't got the ball to what we do on it. But people are just subs. I mean, just like a subs again. What? He should have changed at halftime. I'm not saying, he didn't help himself. But the thing is, I remember speaking to Martin, who's a lot older than me, and we did a video, and he says, Joe, we're in a mini league with the teams that are down the bottom, and as long as we win them games, that's all that matters. Arsenal, of course, we don't want to get battered 5. We don't want the goal difference taking such a hammering. Someone said yesterday, Joe, I think 49ers will make a decision, 2 games in. What? With 3 points in 2? We expect, if we're being honest, what did you expect from the first 3? On paper, when you look at it, we said we've got to beat Everton. Got to beat Everton. Because the next 2, we could lose them both. We've lost one of them. And the meltdown as though we didn't expect that. People say, yeah, but it's the manner. Agreed. But it's not enough to... If that continued to happen, fair enough, but it won't. It won't. We're not going to lose 5-0 against other teams. It's Arsenal. This can happen. It definitely can happen. I think we gifted them. Look, we know they're the best team in Europe at set pieces, man. They scored a set piece against Man United the week before, after being largely pretty crap against a buoyant new Man United side at Old Trafford, but they still won from a set piece. Yeah, the the half-time was where it went really tits up. Well, the start of the game with the lineup that was chosen at half-time. The fact to continue to play Pirro was a madness. I get it at home, and when we were dominating, he played well against Everton. People say, but he didn't get a goal and an assist, he's rubbish. No, he played well against Everton. I think no player covered as much grass as him in that first half. But you can't do that away at the Emirates against the best centre-back partnership, arguably in world football right now, in club football. Perry worries about his distribution. Should we have gone short? I would argue no. The mad thing is, in the 2 games I'm looking at, I'm going, do you know what? People bemoan Melior's distribution. It might be better. But we should be going long, but there's not a target man to hit because the guy up top can't hold it up. Again, the centre-backs, easiest after evening they'll have all season. And I think when Perry went short and he gave it into, I think it was Stack. Stack got bullied and Gyökeres had an opportunity that he put wide. He should have scored from that, Gyökeres. But Strout wasn't great yesterday. Strout's great when he's got time, when we're on top, when we're dominant. But yesterday, defensively, it was a shambles. Letting Gyökeres come in on his right and just come across the box. Where did he think it was going to end up? Where was that ever going to end up? We missed Ampadu, and people told me he wasn't good enough for the division. Boy, did we miss him yesterday. There's an argument for a out-and-out 6. Listen, dare I say it quietly, I wouldn't have minded Calvin in there yesterday. I wouldn't have minded Calvin in that 6 role yesterday. I wouldn't have minded Calvin in there. We know Ampadu will miss Newcastle. It is at home. It'll be a different game. I think we can get a point. If we get 3, it'd be amazing. And then we're down to 8 wins. Ultimately, 2 games in, we've got 9 wins to go, in my opinion. Nothing's changed. Do they expect us to beat Arsenal? No. I said they would beat us 2-0. But what we can't do as a fan base and as a group of players and managers linger on that result. We've got to move on. I'm going to go into some of your comments now and answer them as we go through. Try, as you might, to be chill. And I'll try as I might to think. But if I see some mad comments, I will respond. So you do recognise these worrying patterns, though, with Farke. What worrying patterns, Sam? If you could give me the Farke. I know you're not a Farke out, mate, but what worrying patterns? It's a brand new season, brand new tactics with 2 games in. What are the worrying patterns you would like me to be worried about? He's either going to be prime nor is he? Yeah. I think it's a little harsh criticism of him saving them shots yesterday, but more will be revealed. That was the softest penalty. He did get stamped on in real time. It would have been moving a lot quicker. It would have impacted him. I'm not going to bemoan it. I'm not going to bemoan this supposed handball. We got battered and deservedly so. We move. Arsenal haven't lost in the league to the Big 6 for over 1,000 days. I don't think only Leeds fans expected them to dominate them, exactly. Never saw the penalty. I've turned it off by then. Oh, I don't know why you would turn it off. Metch came straight away, won a duel. Exactly, Tyler. It was the right... Come on. It is mental that he went with Pirro the more and more you think about it. And even I, as a Farke backer, said that in the lead up to the game. See one fan saying you don't see Liverpool, Man City, Man United getting beat like this. I just thought... But the thing is, you do. That's the mad thing, CC. You do. Guess what? Arsenal beat City 5-1 last season. Who remembers a couple of seasons ago when Man United got beat for 6 by Liverpool? You do. So just tell them that. Yes, you do. Where have you been? Yeah, well, listen, after the final word tonight, it will be, right? It will be. It will be move on time. Well, it's clear to see it was mostly on Farke. I think it was naive and overconfident. Yeah, but arguably, you could argue it was overconfidence. Biggest opponent he's had for this club just needs to take this as a lesson, or it's going to be a long season, 100%. Do you know what the thing as well, unambiguous? They could be more like this. It can happen. This playing out from the back against a team like Grove was miles off the standard of Pirro, was non-existent. Harrison and Aronson, you know me, G. But from a defensive standpoint, it probably would have been better. But again, outlook-wise, I'd have started with James. I probably would have gone with Harrison. But this is a thing, like, people, like, if he went with that, he'd have got criticised for that. Not after what we right, Nick, it's this sort of stuff that drives me insane, bro. It's 2 games in, we've got 3 points. We've won 1 and lost 1. At what point would you where are we doing? What are we doing? That I can't get my head around that logic. We're 2 games in and you're going, what point do you start to worry though? What, we've got 3 points. We've just played second in the division, and a team that at the back end of the last season when their manager came in, when their manager came in, there was only the top 4 that performed better than him. And we won that game, right? We won that game. He gets no praise for that whatsoever. It's just like, well, Everton is shit. Should beat Everton. Lose to Arsenal. When do we start to worry for his job? It's mental. Guess what, folks? There may be weeks where we might lose 3 on the spin. If you're saying this after 1 loss against Arsenal, you can't be helped. I'm sorry, Nick. If you think you need to be worrying for the manager after 1 loss at Arsenal, I don't know what we're doing here. I'm so glad the 49ers are emotional like us. Because if they were emotional like me, the manager would stay too long. And if they were emotional like some of yous, he'd go after 1 loss. That's why you need people who are not emotionally invested. I'm criticising myself here as well because I'd give him more time. But it depends what you like, doesn't it? I wanted Jesse gone. I'd give Bielsa forever. Do you know what I mean? But, like, how could you genuinely sit there and go, I think we need to worry, you know? It's 2 games in. We've got 3 points, 50% win rate in Premier League, best in thing. Yeah, but he's lost 1 game at Arsenal. Yeah, I think you're right. Board meeting. Do you know what I mean? It's mental. Remember, Arsenal under Arteta have spent $1 billion. They won an FA Cup and beat Leeds 5-0 at home, 100%. I don't think he was as bad as other people are making out. That's just my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. No one thought we'd win, but it was a gutless performance. No one wanted the ball. Yeah, potentially, but I don't think they could get on the ball. We needed to get up the pitch. Like Tyler says here, we needed to match them physically, win fouls, buy fouls, get us up the pitch. When we're trying to play cute football through that midfield, just wasn't happening. Garbagen says, don't worry about it, Joe. There's much more of this coming. Well, I am worried with this clown Fark in charge. Bro, you've been saying that for 3 years, man. Fucking change the tune. Get a new record. Or do me a favour. Just come back when he's gone and we've brought your manager in. New face at Emirates, still getting used to each other. Never mind the Premier League. And now seeing what quality is here. As long as we learn from this and keep moving forward. Agreed, Larkin. Yeah, I agreed, Mark. That's what I'm saying. We helped them, didn't we? We helped them. His loyalty, nativity plate. What? His loyalty is what loyalty? To who? To what? To where? To when? What loyalty do you speak of? I don't know what you mean. Loyalty to who? By playing the same team. He'll change it for Tuesday. Does that mean he's not loyal anymore? When you can't compete with the technical ability, you need to impact with physicality, pace, strength, aggression. Agreed. And we didn't do that. We helped them too much. Again, that is incorrect. He made changes on 58 minutes yesterday. Before even that minute that you speak about, he'd made 4 changes. 4 changes before that minute. So 58, 66, 66. 4 changes before even that minute had occurred. So what we doing here? This is what I mean. Let's just check the Everton game. 1 change before that minute had even occurred. So that's 5 changes before that minute even occurs. Farker will make mistakes, as do all of us, 100%. Farker has to take that on the chin. Therefore, well, I think he knows more than us all, though, really. But I get your sentiment. Tanaka out for the next 3 weeks. I don't know about that. Where have we heard that? I thought we were pants all game. I thought we started well, mate. 20-25 minutes. We were under the cosh. They were on top, but I thought we did well. Things that bounced our way in the championship didn't yesterday. We don't need to win these games. Need to get a big win versus. Yeah, I think so as well. And he'll go strong, Will Farker, because he always does in the cups. Yeah, he's not looked the most convincing yet. Oh, don't, man. Please, no. Please, no. I did think that could happen, mate, when they lost out on Eze. I said it on a few shows this week. That's going to be fun for me this week, innit? But I don't hide. Just hope this hasn't shattered their belief. It's 2 games in, it won't. I get it still hurts. West Ham on the way down. They're not looking good, are they? Fact, his Fark will be gone if he needs to go early doors. Hopefully he can show signs of adapting. If not, 49ers won't hesitate for now. Let's support him and the boys. Yeah, they'll make the decision when the decision needs to be made, but they're not going to, do it when it... My point is, people were saying this last season. They know when the time will come, and probably the time will come when we're all asking for it, right? Nah, Lee Gunner's sound. Lee Gunner's a top lad. I know him off camera. He's a good lad. Might not agree with his opinions, his delivery, but he's a really stand-up guy. I don't know why we're getting Donnarumma. He can't play out from the back either. Yeah, I know. He's almost as bad as Trafford was yesterday. Why, though? Why? Why would that be your wish? I wish to be successful. Why? What would that do for you? Genuinely, ask yourself the question. Would that confirm that you were right? Do you want the manager to see you were right and he was wrong? Please just answer me that question. I'm genuinely interested why you wish Farker would say, I think I might have got it wrong. So not even be, forthright and say, I got it wrong. You want him to go, I think I might have got it wrong? And then you'd be happy. Your wishes would come true. Why? I don't get that. I don't get that. Imagine if that header went in, it could have been different. Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why you would wish it upon him. I wish someone would do that. Can't let the negativity infect the ground. Need to stay positive and supportive. This will likely happen again and still doesn't need to have any impact. Agreed. Tanaka is injured according to the YEP. Where have we read this? It better not be. Tanaka picked up a tackle in the first game against us, but still played. I've lost count on the number. Oh, don't say that. Let's have a look. That's from Japanese football. I've not seen it from a proper source. I've not seen it from YEP. I don't know. Maybe more will be revealed. I hope not. I'll tell you that much. I hope that much. Why so quiet? Amps is out till after international. What do you mean? He is, mate. He is. Joe, you expect it, but it's the fact that the players. I didn't. I said 2, but it could have easily been more. Joe, hopefully it's a wake-up call to switch it up when playing away. Definitely, Martin. That's what we need, bro. You don't have anything in your arsenal to beat us. Pun intended. Nothing would have made a difference. Maybe Guna codes. Maybe you're just too good. Sunderland, I think, were lucky against Burnley to lose Ballard so early. Yeah. 3 points at best. After the first 3. I said 3. But maybe we get a point next week at home against Newcastle. I got Burnley, Sunderland and Wolves going down. I will stand by it. I'll take it, mate. West Ham also in bad situation at the minute. 100%, Michael. Bigger fish to fry. Yes, unambiguous, they do. Massively. Now, we need to see our attack against an opposition that is more on our level. So had we have had Okafor in and maybe another right winger for Everton, could we have created more chances? Yes. The first thing Okafor did, although admittedly he forgot to take the ball with him, he ran at the fullback. Ronto doesn't stand him up enough. Okafor will do that. He'll get in their face, he'll stand them up and try and get round them. So I'm excited to see him play. I would start him against Wednesday. Get him up to speed. In my opinion, golfing quality reason for the loss, far cut fault for the manner. Yeah, I can't disagree with that, Matty, if I'm honest. The lineup was wrong, and he should have changed it at half time. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It was silly. The thing is, that in the first half, first 20, 25 minutes, we got in behind Calafiori with Dan James once or twice, and then could never get it there. Why? Because couldn't get up the fucking pitch. Why? Because the striker, he's not the type of striker that can challenge with the defenders and hold it up. Mecha came on and won penalties and also gave away fouls, but I would rather our attacker be giving away fouls than not even getting a fucking anywhere near the ball. I'm telling you, if Pirro starts in games like that against physical, domineering centre backs, it'll be long. We saw that in the Championship. Yeah. How are you feeling, Joe? Welcome to the Premier League. There's a little bit of that, Sam. Had Melier been in goal, he would have been hounded. Yes, he would, because he'd already made so many errors. If Perry had a catalogue of errors, yes. You give a new person time, don't you? No, he wasn't. Wayne. No, he was not. Not for me, anyway. Football's about opinions, but no way. Strout was absolutely shite. They all were, but he was bad. Since August 2023, Arsenal 33 goals from set pieces. Next closest is on 20. Also, Saka goal was nearly identical to the last time we met. Big up to you, bro. Thanks for supporting. Well, you've been missing because I've been saying it for a while. Leeds will easily beat Leeds United, is it? We beat ourselves. City got beat by 5. Love the work rate, Joe. Keep the vids coming. We'll try, mate. I couldn't last night. I was going to come on and talk about Ramazani and Bakwa, but I just needed to switch off. I mean, I did say that, Brad. I mean, you can never go into a game but I did say we get beat 2-0. I didn't fancy us. It was always going to be tough. First home game, etc. New players in the door. It was always going to be tough. We just made it tougher for ourselves with the selection, and yeah, it is what it is. He's been relegated from this league. Totally different scenario, bro. Totally different context. It's unfair to do that. Because also what I would say in response to that, if right, so managers never won a trophy, don't employ him because he's never won a trophy. Well, how's he ever gonna? You know what I mean? I'm not sure. How is it he is not understanding that the old fan base? Yeah, it shouldn't have been Pedro. I don't have the answers to that, and someone should have asked him. That's the first game we lost since March, and the people are losing it. Mate, we're having to have logic by fans outside of Leeds United. Arsenal fans, Forest fans. Like, whoa, relax. Do you know what I mean? People are saying he should go. Yeah, Michael, it'd be silly anyway. Yeah, we're going to talk about Ramazani once I've caught up. Hi, Joe, Arsenal fan here. I think Leeds have been decent in those 2 games. Hope you'll do well for the rest of the season. Thank you, mate. Listen, I speak to a lot of fans and Arsenal fans, especially, oh, Yadders, you know, we were worried first 20, 25 minutes. You almost scored. And we're like, it's worse than shit. Come on, Joe, you're a newly promoted team and you've only won half the point available. Surely they should be in for a meltdown. Oh, yeah. Did the team that beat you also smash City and Madrid? I know, bro. Mental, innit? Get him out. Get behind the manager and the team. They need it. They do in the stands, mate. They do in the stands. 100%. And we only need 9 more wins. 9 more wins. Sorry, Joe, but honestly, fair play to your fans for staying till the end. Not many. Yeah, and to be honest, there's been a lot of love for the support. There's been a lot of love for the support. Your serious question to your fans, you sat Farker, who do you bring in within your financial restrictions? Yeah, I don't know, bro. I wouldn't sack him. I don't think he will be sacked. I think he sees the season out, and I think Leeds United stay up. Genuinely. So I think that's where we're at. I may be wrong, but yeah. Yeah, agreed, James. Yesterday's XG was similar to the Everton game. For us, yeah, that's not good, is it? Tanaka was wearing a bandage on his leg. Morning, Joe. Morning, Joe. Everton fan here. You'll be fine this year. A proper football club deserves to be in the Premier League. Thank you, Stoddy. Stoddy having seen us last weekend, of course. The manager won't learn. Best centre back on bench. Well, you don't even know Martin because you've not even seen him play yet. So you just dislike the manager. So you're just making assumptions. So yeah, best manager. But listen, we all said pre-game you can't really change that centre back partnership. Even myself, it's easy with hindsight. A striker who can hold up ball on the bench. Yet wrong decision. Arsenal scored more set pieces. Yet we still play 2 centre backs. So what do you want him to do? Go with 3. What's that going to do from a set piece, bro? Just because you've got another centre-back in there. What does that even mean? Comes down to maybe zonal marking, man-to-man marking, how you set up from a set piece. It doesn't matter if the centre-backs. What's that got to do? Got wrong up front, middle park. Oh, well, you just got it wrong all over for Martin. I reckon you should grab a go, man. People need to realise Arsenal are title contender side and Leeds aren't. If you look at Bournemouth, for example, when they lost 9-0 to Liverpool one season, they still managed to have a decent season. Definitely. Fargy got it wrong, however, I understand why he tried that style. I don't, man. I don't, pal. But that's just me. Right, okay. What Daniel Fark said immediately after Arsenal. Sorry, I just want to see this parent MZL. Asked about Tanaka. After a tackle in the first half, he had problems with his MCL. He kept it going, and I hope it's not too bad. I hope the assessment is not too bad. There are a few concerns that it would be an injury, but it's normally positive that he can play further on. But we'll have to assess him and see how long it takes to get him fit. So he's probably out Tuesday. Hopefully he's back for the weekend because we definitely need him. Definitely need him for Newcastle. What's that in response to? Sorry, bro, I'm way behind on the chat. I'm so behind, mate. So you'd have to let me know what that means, bro, or in response to, at least. Back 5 against big sides, similar to Frank at Brentford and Spurs. Maybe 3-5-2, potentially, mate. Potentially, it could have been an option. Some people suggested it. Embarrassing, and we all have to go to work tomorrow. I'm totally dreading it, mate. Where do you work? Which area are you in? No, I don't think they are, mate. Some genuinely believe these things. I think it's fair to I don't. What does that mean, pal? What does that mean? Can you give me some meat on the bones? Are you ever positive at all? Yeah, definitely. Maybe that's what I'm saying. Dealing with guys like Gyökeres, yeah, potentially. Joe, go back to Perry's scouting report. He doesn't come out of crosses. He's a static goalie. To criticise him is strange. You think, well, he needs to start coming then. He needs to start coming. I put this out there yesterday, mate. As a Forest supporter, in our first season, we lost 5-0 to Arsenal and 6 to City. Only got 5 points away. You're going to be all right. There you go. 5 points on the road is all he got. And we'll get more than that. I do believe that. 5 points on the road. Tanaka is injured. We need midfielders in the door because we lose more if Gruev starts games. I think you're very harsh on Gruev, but it is what it is. Yeah, I do think we need... Well, no, I can't look into the future, and it's not... It all depends on context. You can't just say... Because it depends how you lose, where you lose. If we were to go out, we play Newcastle, Fulham, and I can't remember the other one, and we got beat 5, yeah, then obviously there'd be serious questions, but we won't do that. It's just like me saying to you, Yorkshireman, if we get promoted with 90 points, with 100 points, score 90 goals, will you ever be happy? You're not. We're back to disagreeing. You will get, listen to me, and I'll say it again, and I fucking said it last season. You will get your wish. The manager will eventually be sacked. So you will get your wish at one point in time. And you can all say, I told you so. Like, yeah, but we've had like 3 seasons out of him. It didn't happen when you said it. I saw fans that I haven't seen all week coming in yesterday's post-match. It's hilarious. But where were you last week when we won? Do you know what I mean? You want to stay... Bro, you're bottom of the league. You're bottom of the league. Joe, we should have played 5. Okay. And Strauch holding midfield. Wow. No. Don't think he's good enough. I assume that's into Gruev. That's fine. I think he is. I think it's harsh. He's getting a lot of criticism, more than he deserves, personally. To be honest, getting spanked might be a good thing, as it might take everyone else realise just how hard they're going to need to work and help them up the level, potentially. Ibo says, can't read much into this for me. Just think we should have started a 5-back with Yaka. Maybe 3, yeah. Yeah, I would have liked that as well, mate. I said that. Like, genuinely, I know people disagree, but I would have started Harrison. Although I thought Nonto was actually okay at the start. So I think I'd have started Harrison personally. Metcha, James. The midfield for me, I probably would have kept the same, or maybe you bring in Longstaff. And then it's easy now with hindsight to say be all in. I'd suggest it, but I just think it'd have been very harsh to do that. Yeah, and some mad Christmas tree formation. Mate, I'm sorry your birthday went as... Listen, you might have had a good birthday, but from a result perspective. But yeah. Joe, social media and TalkSport Friday, everyone's brilliant. It's unacceptable for a... Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It is. It's mad. It is mad. You're right. I think Longstaff, Okafor, Biol and Metcha start at Newcastle, yeah. I think he'll start in the midweek and then we'll go from there, I think. But yeah, dust ourselves off, move on now. I do just want to, before we finish up, discuss some transfer news. So let's leave that game there. We'll do the final word a little bit later on, and I am going to be on Leeds That tonight as well, because James is on holiday. So great time for me to come on. But let's just quickly go through some transfer news. So Valencia are in for Ramazani. So that's gonna happen. I did see something on apparently they've had an agreement for a while. So apparently Valencia is working on the loan of Ramazani, top choice for the winger. He's won over Corberan. He's already given the green light. He's not travelling with Leeds this match day, and they want to get it done quickly. Yeah, So he's gonna go to Valencia. I think it sounds like Leeds had already prepared for his exit. So that's gonna happen. He's going to go to Valencia, I think. Now, what it says is Valencia have entered talks with Leeds to secure the loan with a buy option for Ramazani. Spanish club willing to cover Ramazani's salary, but wants to negotiate a free loan along with the purchase option in return. Leeds want a loan fee. So it sounds like they're haggling over money. So Leeds are saying, listen, we want money and then maybe a permanent fee. They're saying, well, we'll cover his salary. We're not going to give you any money and then a permanent fee. So we'll wait and see. But maybe, like, yes, look, we know he removed the club or the picture. He blacked it out. He's going, right? So Ramazani looks like he'll leave. And he's going to go to Valencia. Let's hope it's a success for him. Hasn't worked out at Leeds. That could be down to the manager for some, and that's fine. You know, the manager doesn't rate him. So it is what it is. He's going to go. Now, Leeds United are looking at replacements, of course, or additional players. And Sasha Taglieri, when the games were on yesterday, tweeted out to say Leeds are leading the race to sign Dillian Bakwa. We are ready to meet their purchase price, which is 35 million euros to make the deal happen. Forest have not left, but the newly promoted team are now ahead. So we are ahead in the conversation. Sasha then updated it 12 hours ago, so like 10 hours after his original tweet, to say Forest remain close to Bakwa and he's fighting to close the gap. Leeds have with Racing Strasbourg. Things will change in the coming hours, more to follow. So it sounds like Leeds have said, we'll meet it. It's a little bit like the Paixão deal, right? Leeds have met it. Now Forest are trying to close that gap. This is my worry. Jamie, I'm not getting into the conversation, mate. I've done it to death. I'm not doing it, bro. So if that's what you're expecting, I've done it to death. I've explained why I backed the manager. I'm not going into it anymore, mate. It just fucking hurts my head. Ramazani's going to leave. He might go on and smash it, and everyone could say the manager was wrong. But what's best for Leeds United right now is what's happening right now. That's all I'll say on the matter. Yeah, that's my worry as well. If we consider the Paixão deal, I have to wait and see. My worry is that Forest can make it up. I would have hoped that they would have stayed away because of this. Ndoye, Hutchinson, McAtee, Gibbs-White, Kalimawendo, Wood, they've got a lot of options. But they are going into the Europa League, and the owner will spend. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, we move, don't we? So it'll be all eyes on that this week. No worries, Carl. I hope. I try to anyway. Mate. Try to for myself. We're just going to have a look at, see what we've got left in terms of window. So it closes on the 1st at 7:30. We have 8 days now, people. Just 8 days. So we've got 8 days to go. So this week needs to be big, doesn't it? Leeds are very inactive on a weekend. But it's our last week this week. It's our last week this week. It shuts on Monday. So from tomorrow, we have a week. We need a fullback. I would argue we need a striker. I don't think we'll get a striker, though, because the manager will be happy with Mecha, Pirot, and DCL. Listen, if DCL is fit yesterday, it's different, man. He is a good player. The only problem is it's risky. It's risky. I don't think we'll get a striker, but we need a fullback. Definitely, because Byram coming on, etc. I like Byram. Happy for him. He got Premier League minutes, but we need a fullback. Because if one of them goes down, he can't be starting week in, week out. And we certainly can't play Isaac Schmidt. Yeah. We need a right winger. I like James, but we can see this isn't the James in the Championship. He doesn't get as many opportunities as, yeah. I like James, but it's not James in the Championship. So Bakwa, hopefully, or someone of that ilk. Fullback, winger. Does he get a 10/winger so he can switch up the formation? Do we get a striker? I'm not too sure. I would like to see 3, maybe 4 come in. Realistically, we'll probably get 2, which will be a fullback and a winger, which might not be enough, but we'll see. We shall see. But listen, folks, I want you to all have a good day. I will be doing a watch along of the footballs, watch along of the footballs. We've got, I think I'm doing Palace Forest. Yes, Palace Forest. I'm doing Crystal Palace Forest, and then after that we've got Fulham versus Manchester United. So we're locked in from about 1:30. Yeah. 1:30. I'll see you there. I'm going to set them up now, have a coffee and that, and I'll speak to you in a bit. But thanks for tuning in to this morning. We'll get the final word on later on tonight as well, and then we've got Man United and all that sort of shit. But big up to you all, and enjoy the rest of your day. If you don't see me for watch alongs, love for the love. See you in a bit.